Because I truly believe that each individual has a different truth. And I believe that whatever your truth is, it defines not only your station in life, but it also speaks to your limitations. Whatever your truth is, that is how the world will manifest around you. If you believe in heaven, you will be in a space of heaven. If you believe that heaven is in the afterlife, then you will live this realm in a state of struggle, waiting for something in the afterlife. If you believe that this is a hell, then that's what you will get. If you believe that you're limitless, that's what you will get. And so to me, that is our challenge as beings on the planet, to overcome ourselves, to overcome the ego, and to really connect to the things that bring us insight and awareness into who we really, really are. Today I wanted to share with you and speak about the 7 Hermetic Principles. There are 7 of these profoundly sacred and universal principles that govern our existence, that define the nature of our reality here on this 3D plane, but also help us to connect with the multi-dimensional nature that we actually are. Although I've been working with some of these principles before I even knew that they were principles, Hermetic principles, I find myself having discovered all 7 of them and doing a lot of reading up on them over the last several months, and really making a more concerted effort to integrate the others into my life on a regular basis. And it has helped me tremendously. And I feel like if you embrace these principles, they will enrich your life in immeasurable ways. And the interesting thing about these principles is, like anything else that has the profound ability to affect you at a deep physical and mental, emotional and spiritual level, they are layered in their meaning. And as you grow in your journey, the meaning that you derive from these principles unfolds, and it deepens and deepens and deepens. And it reminds me of the scriptures, whether we're talking about the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, or any of the other beautiful practices that people around the world have tried to have used in order to find meaning about life, and have tried to emulate the ideals of. Although many of those traditions have failed to meet their goals, because the people themselves have not done the inner cleansing and the spiritual renewal that is required in order to actually effectuate what it is that they say they believe. The scriptures always have universal truths in them. And these principles, if you look at them with a critical eye, they come across in every scriptural text. So for me today, being in the space that I am, it is critical for me to, I'm an integrator. That's my role on the planet as well. I integrate information. I bring stuff from discrete occult or eclectic circles or studies or research, and I bring it together into a whole, and I try to present it in a way that helps people to see their oneness and their connectedness with others around them. I don't like to focus on differences. I believe differences are an illusion. I don't like to focus on labels and things that separate us and things that are not of source, that are not of God. We create differences from within, and we take them out into the world, and we create havoc. So these principles are really amazing. So I wanted to give you a brief introduction of each of the principles, and then I would like for you to come back for videos 1 through 7, which will cover a particular principle, and then help you to delve a little deeper into the ways that you can use these principles to enrich your experience of the world. And as I said, the more you study them, the more you apply them, the more you become conscious of them, because each time you become conscious of something and you have a new awareness, it actually organizes up matter, and it sets into effect a change, and there is a momentum that begins underneath the surface that begins to draw new experiences to you. And that is the wonder of being open-minded. I'm So thankful to the Creator that I'm open-minded, because I truly believe that each individual has a different truth. And I believe that whatever your truth is, it defines not only your station in life, but it also speaks to your limitations. Whatever your truth is, that is how the world will manifest around you. If you believe in heaven, you will be in a space of heaven. If you believe that heaven is in the afterlife, then you will live this realm in a state of struggle, waiting for something in the afterlife. If you believe that this is a hell, then that's what you will get. If you believe that you're limitless, that's what you will get. And so to me, that is our challenge as beings on the planet, to overcome ourselves, to overcome the ego, and to really connect to the things that bring us insight and awareness into who we really, really are. So I'm Tanisha Ali of Butterfly Transformations, connecting you to the vision of who you truly are. Welcome, perfect people and beautiful butterflies. I am here to get you out of your cocoon and into your wings. So principle number 1, the all is mental. And each of these principles means something different to each person. That's the beauty of truth. You can give it any flavor you want. It transcends limitations. It is multi-dynamic. It is multi-dimensional. Anything that is in a box, people, limits the hell out of you, and it reduces your beautiful experience down to something finite. So it's time for you to get out of that box, damn it, and break those boundaries. So rule number 1, or principle number 1, not rule, the all is mental. So what that means is thought forms are behind everything. But what that means to me, when I hear the all is mental, I think of supreme consciousness, avatar consciousness, the God particle, God source. I feel that everything is one and is connected. Oh no, my laptop is trying to go out. Hold on. So for me, that means that everything is about consciousness, right? Everything is about consciousness. It also means that everything is one. It also means that everything is connected, right? The all is mental. Well, you have to remember, we're constantly evolving. We're evolving as a species. Change is the only thing that is constant in this universe, because nothing else stays as it is. Nothing is static. So how people define things long time ago, we should be in a space as we're evolving and growing and being able to extrapolate and apply different principles in different ways to meet the reality of our particular needs. Which is why oftentimes, if we can get past all of the distortions within the sacred texts that many of us follow, then you will find beneath that is actually the truth, or beneath some of that man-made stuff, you arrive at a place of almost balance and harmony, sameness, similarity. So the all is mental is about anything that you are trying to do. You need to understand that you are connected to the all, that you are a part of the spiritual web of life. You can take this principle and you can put it into every single thing. You can say, I am the all, or the all that is me is mental. So what that really means is that you have the capacity to move things, to shift things, to create things, to bring the unmanifest into manifest form, if ye but knew. This is what I believe. I am not limited by anything except to the extent that I have yet to clear my pre-programming. Except to the extent that I'm still in this matrix and I have yet to fully awaken to the reality of who I truly am. But that, dear brother and sister, is my goal. So when you think of the all is mental, look at where things begin. They begin with consciousness. Consciousness is everything. Consciousness is around us. You are a spark of consciousness that is connected to an even greater pool of consciousness, which means not only do you change the within, but you change also the without. You work internally to get what you want to see externally, right? Whatever it is that's manifesting in your world in terms of thought will create the world that you see around you. Many of the holy books, we already know, everything began with a thought, and then it was vocalized, right? And things came into being, right, via command. So before everything is thought. So when you look at how you're feeling, you need to ask yourself, what am I thinking? If I feel like crap, it's because I'm thinking the types of thoughts that are watering how I feel. This is why I get up every morning and I take charge of my life. I take charge of being grateful for my ability to be on this planet and exist. And I charge myself up and I determine what is it that I can do in the world today to make a difference? What is it that I can welcome into my life to continue to feel as though this is the adventure that it actually is? Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is an adventure. If you look at life as an adventure, you are less afraid. If you look at life as an adventure, you become better able to maneuver whatever comes your way. If you look at life as an adventure, you are always a student. You are a student of yourself. You are a student of the universe. Okay, you recognize that every experience that comes into your life is coming to teach you something. You are more at peace. And when you do that, you are more in your feminine energy. Whether you are a man or not, you flow better, okay? Number 2, the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. So below, as above. Or as below, as above. As within, as without. What we're talking about is the manifestation of the mirroring, okay? Your internal blueprint determines what your external blueprint is going to look like. You can look at someone's outer circumstances and see what is going on in here. That is why we have got to begin to hold ourselves accountable and hold other people accountable as well. Because we cannot really help others. We make an effort to, but what has to happen is an internal shift has to happen in order to change somebody's circumstances. Think of all the people that you've tried to help. Look at all of the resources that you've poured into other people, only to watch that those situations didn't really change. And if they did, they only changed when that individual was ready to change them. So what that means is, as above, so below, or the principle of correspondence, you can apply that in amazing ways in your outlook on life and even in terms of what you believe is possible by remembering that whatever you see in the outside of your world, or whatever you see in the outside of someone else's world in terms of observing them from an objective point of view, they have created that and nurtured that and worked hard as hell to get that. If, for example, you do not have the things in your reality that you want, you are not nurturing the level of consciousness internally in order to have those things manifest. There's nothing else to say about it. You cannot blame it on gender. You cannot blame it on race. You cannot blame it on anybody else. Because if you do, you are disempowering yourself and you are shifting the responsibility that you have to be a conscious creator. And what you do is you set limitations that you cannot transcend. You will never win that way. You will be angry. You will be upset. You will be of a victim mentality. You will be disempowered. You will be separated from who you really are. So as above, so below reminds you that your external environment has been cultivated by way of what is going on inside. It also reminds you that if you want to know what's going on inside of you, all you have to do is look at what's happening around you. If you want to know where you are in your life and how much growth you still need to do, look at the relationships that you have. Look at how you're interacting with the people in your life. If it feels good, then you're on a roll, you're continuing to elevate. If it doesn't feel good, it means, guess what? I'm manifesting something in my outer world that I need to change. If you're in pain every day, you have to figure out What is it inside that I need to take a look at? What is my body trying to tell me? What is my spirit trying to tell me? What is my soul trying to tell me? This causes you to take responsibility for your life and stop making excuses. You cannot blame anybody for the situations that you are in. I do not care what has happened to me in my life, the bad things in particular, the experiences that I have been in that I'm thankful for now because I realize they were designed to help me grow and they were a necessary part of my evolution. I created every bit of it. I could have short-circuited some of these things had I been willing to recognize my part in it and had I been willing to learn the necessary lessons that I needed to learn. So we really are in the driver's seat. You're in the driver's seat. You have to study yourself and you have to figure out why things are not doing the way they're supposed to be doing. I woke up this morning determined I am going to again try to shift my eating habits. I have become a slave to food and I don't like it. I'm regressing in terms of what I need to do for myself and how I eat, and I have decided today is the day. Today is the day. It's going to change today. And guess what? I'm going to do my best to stick to it. Ask me in the comments a couple months from now, somewhere on one of these videos when you come back to the channel because you're subscribing, you're showing love, you're commenting, you're loving, you're sharing. Ask me how I'm doing with that, okay? Hold me accountable. So the other thing about the law of correspondence for me, because as I said, as you embrace something as your truth, your individual truth, your reality, it is created around your truth. That's why my truth is going to be different than yours. If you believe in something particular that guides your existence, then that's going to be where you're going to be. If I believe that I'm a limitless being and I'm multidimensional and I have superpowers, then guess what? I'm going to begin to have superpowers. I will have superpowers because that is what I believe. If you believe that you are the expression of what the world tells you you are, then that will be the extent that you will experience life. So for me, I look at it this way too. I say, well, you know what? Let's take this twin flame thing, for example. And I could talk all day about that. Maybe one day I'll do a video on that. I say to myself, well, I remember when I first heard about it, deciding whether or not it was something that I could embrace. And I said to myself, well, hell, if we can have a twin down here, we can have a twin up there. And I remember saying, okay, well, I'm down here on this planet. I have family, I have a tribe, I have people that come into my life to support my journey. Why wouldn't I have that above? Why wouldn't I have a legion, for crying out loud, of sentient beings who are guiding me and directing me? So it helps you to be willing to open your mind up to the possibilities of the things that you've yet to really consciously consider. The next law of cause and effect, you shall reap what you sow. Okay, whatever you put out is coming back to you. Whatever you nurture over time will begin to have an effect in your world that is perceptible to you. The law of cause and effect. What we do, or every action, creates an equal and opposite reaction. Everything that you do in this world brings something back to you, whether that bringing back to you is pleasant or not pleasant. This is something that is very, very important. And this is the one that can escape us. This is the one that escapes me, but this is the one that I've been working with for the longest time. But this whole thing about recognizing that when you send something out, when you're doing work, when you're putting effort towards something, it has no choice but to manifest for you. Okay, it's a universal principle. It has no choice. You're not going to be moving and intentionally living your life in a certain way and not have anything to show at the end of the day. By the same token, if you're not doing anything, the effect is going to be something that you're dissatisfied with. So there is no free ride. You get what you are, you get who you are, and you see the manifestation of the things that you have cultivated or not. Everything that you do, every thought that you have, every single emotion. You wake up in the morning feeling all crazy. What's the effect of that? You're going to manifest things in your day that are going to be crazy, disempowering, and de-energizing. Okay? Number 4, polarity. The principle of polarity helps us to understand that they're poles to things, okay? There are extremes or outliers to everything in this universe. Everything in this universe has its opposite. And many sacred books talk about this. I know for sure the Quran has an ayah that says God created things in opposites so that we may find meaning in contrast. If you don't have hot, how do you know what cold is? If you don't have misfortune, how can you appreciate fortune? If you don't have an acknowledgement of light, how do you know what dark is? So the law or the universal principle of polarity can help you to understand what is real in terms of how you approach life. One of the things that we can fall into in terms of a spiritual journey is you can begin to be in a bubble, and you can begin to live this wonderful, blissful life, and you can forget that there's a world out there of darkness, or there's a world out there that has an equal and opposite energy that you still have to react to and respond to, and that you still have a responsibility to be a part of that. That is a part of the balance. So let's say, for example, as you grow in light, you need to still understand that there are polar opposites that potentially seek to provide or to be a part of channeling darkness. Okay, as you ascend, there's also descension. Okay, so you have to understand how this plays out in life. Every single thing in this universe has a contrast so that we may find meaning, so that we may be grateful, and so that we may understand that they are two parts of a whole. Okay, that they're two parts of a whole, and our charge is to balance these energies, to flow back and forth between them in a fluid way, and to understand the relevance of them when it is time. So what this means is what goes up must come down, right? You cannot have fortune all the time and never suffer misfortune. It's out of alignment with universal principles. So it helps you to approach your life in a more realistic way. The next principle is the principle of vibration. And I talk about this all the time. This is so what I'm about. Everything is energy. Everything is consciousness and information. The entire fabric of life, of reality, is based on frequency and vibration. And frequency and vibration are governed by certain realities. Okay? We attract who we are. We attract those experiences that need to teach us. We attract what our energy is. So in this sense, this is why I have little appreciation for those people who are out there trying to sell others a shortcut to the art of manifesting. Because I know what it takes to manifest, because I do it all the time, and I've gotten better and better and better. And one thing that I know is you have to become the vibration of what it is you have to attract. And in doing that, in becoming the vibration, it is not something that you do overnight when you want to do it on a consistent basis and be the kind of conscious creator that manifests things in short order, regardless of whatever it is that you're asking for. So what this means is that you as an energetic entity are composed of your thoughts, your feelings, your perceptions, your attitudes, and so many other things that make up the you that you think you are as you travel through this particular third dimensional paradigm. And so you have to recognize that all of that stuff is a vibration within your energy field, and each of those things is attracting its same. So let's say, for example, you have the limited belief that there are no good men out there. That's not just a belief that's there and not creating any reality. It is a belief that is, first of all, causing this not to be open and seeing the reality of things, but it has a frequency that has lodged itself in your energy field, and it is working to attract more of those very experiences into your life. You have got to get beyond the physical. We already talked about Principle number 1, the all is mental. Everything is mental. When you can begin to transcend the world of form and recognize that everything that you see in your existence is something that you created, whether you are conscious of it or not, and begin to realize that everything that comes into your experience is there by deliberation and is something that you have drawn to yourself, then you begin to realize the necessity of monitoring and managing your energy. It is so, so critical. We hear all the time, everything is energy. Well, what does that mean, everything is energy? It means your thoughts are energy. It means your emotions are energy. It means the things you spend time with are energy. The people that you are around are energy. The spaces that you inhabit are energy. The miserable job that you're in is an energy. And energy affects energy. We are trained to certain frequencies, okay? Because oscillating bodies must harmonize and lock into phase in order for there to be that oneness, right? And so if someone that you are around has a lower vibration than you do, and you have a higher vibration, but their lower vibration has a greater amplitude, then you will be entrained to their frequency, all right? And vice versa. So what this means is, again, you are a conscious creator and you have much work to do. But again, this is an adventure and this is a playground, right? Why not learn, be a student, and have fun? And why not open yourself up to the level of awareness that allows you to enjoy more of life? I can't count the days in a year that I have when I'm miserable unless and until I allow something to come into my space and disrupt my continuity and my flow. And typically I always know when that's going to happen. And I have learned and am learning to guard that in a way that I have not been able to in my past. But that is when, as long as I'm vigilant and I'm doing my work, I'm energized. I wake up every day ready to greet the world. I wake up every day so grateful. What a joy it is to be alive, right? What a joy it is to be alive. So that was the principle of vibration. The next principle is the principle of rhythm. Everything in this universe has a flow. Everything in this universe has a rhythm to it, okay? It is perfect. It is harmonious. It is balanced. There is equanimity. There is equilibrium. Nothing in this universe is without that rhythm. You have a rhythm as well. And when you get out of that rhythm, you pay the price. When we work against the natural balance and rhythm of the universe, we work against ourselves. We have to reflect on the signs around us in the universe so that we know how to align ourselves with cosmic will, with that energy, so that we can move and flow with that energy. Why? Because when we don't, we suffer. It's that simple. If my body works harmoniously when I do what I need to do, and I decide I still want to have wheat, I still want to have dairy, I do all the things to take my body out of its bliss, I'm going to pay the price for that. We pay for everything that we do. Principle of cause and effect, right? There is no free ride, people. If you want to live the awakened life and the wonderful experience that's possible on this 3D plane, you want to live a 4D, 5D reality and even higher dimensional reality, you have got to put the effort in. There are no shortcuts to success. I don't give a darn what anybody says. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. So with this flow and this rhythm, okay, you have peaks and then you have lows. You have ebbs and you have flows. Everything that goes up must come down, right? You have seasons, times and periods in which things have happened. We have winter, spring, summer, fall. Y'all heard me do my little rendition the other day on the Divine Feminine video. We have the moon phases and cycle. We have the sun. We have night and day. We have the 9 months of the rhythm of the trimesters. When a woman is having a baby, we have birth, we have death, we have metamorphosis, we have stagnation, we have all of these beautiful things, all these beautiful rhythms. We need to understand those rhythms. We need to be able to process them. This has been one that's been challenging for me in some instances because I have had to, in the last couple of years, find alignment with those rhythms and recognize that I can't always be in motion, that I need to just sit and be. That sit and being is my feminine energy that needs to be worked on. We talked about that in my other videos, that need to just be, okay? But also recognizing that in the course of a month or in the course of a season, but definitely within the course of a month, I'm going to have, and you can look at the rhythms of a week, you're going to have times where you should be at peak, and then you'll have times where you should be riding the waves. Will have times of stillness where you're planting seeds and you're cultivating intentionality, and then you'll have periods where you're climbing up and you're weeding things out of the garden and looking at your thoughts and figuring out what's getting in the way and tweaking your processes. But you cannot continue to go and go and go and go because it goes against the rhythm of nature. We have springtime when things come back and things are forming and the blooms are coming up, right? This is the time of year where we feel like, you have more energy. The days are getting longer. You hear the birds out in the morning. You want to get into the flow of that. You can't help get into the flow of that because you're connected to the cosmos. No different than when you wake up in the morning with the sun. Because you're connected to the sun's energy, you have to start your day. So when we do things like we run ourselves till we're ragged, people work 3 and 4 jobs, or people work at nighttime when everything else goes to sleep and is silent, you're working against the grain. And it's fine for you to do, but know that you are out of the natural balance and that on some level you will pay for that. You must begin to bring more balance in your life. So when I think of the principle of rhythm, I think of that quintessential flow, okay? I think of that need to remember when you're in your worst, darkest hour, the dark night of the soul, that too shall pass. Because when the sun is at its height, it eventually sets, okay? And we have night, right? But during those 12 hours or however many hours it is, depending upon where you live in the world, the sun will rise again. So that is what helps me. And if you're a tarot reader or you do work with tarot cards, you can associate that with the wheel of fortune. You can associate that with the internal and external balance that's required in life, that we have natural rhythms that we have to abide by in order to stay in the flow. Okay, so we've got the last of the universal principles, the Hermetic Principles, which is the law of gender. And I briefly touched on that just a little bit, but I did give a great example in 2 videos that I uploaded the other night on the divine masculine and divine feminine, and then the distorted masculine and the distorted feminine. Those videos were perfect videos to present the law of gender, or the principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Gender is in anything that is considered whole. And what is not whole, right? Everything that's in this universe is whole. It just depends on how you look at it. So the gender talks about the feminine principle and the masculine principle. Not so much gender that we equate with our genitals. That's not really what is being discussed. We have polar opposites that come together to balance. Okay, this kind of relates to the law of polarity. But when we talk about the genders, we're talking about a masculine principle, which is more external, more grounding, more stabilizing. Think of trees and their trunks, or think of things that, plants and things that come up out of the ground. They have a root structure, right? They have a stem. So the gender principle is talking about, and as it relates to this masculine principle, about that that outward expression of something that stabilizes, that grounds. In men, it presents itself as action oriented, providing structure and form to things. That is the yang energy, I believe, the masculine energy. And then we have the feminine principle, or the yin principle, which is the principle that's more about the inward. Things are projected inward. But even with the things being projected inward, there's a fullness and a reservoir and a vastness that is so grand it actually encapsulates the masculine principle. Okay, because all things, all birth, all life come from the feminine principle. And so there has to be a balance. And so what that means is you can use this to apply this in many areas of your life, that there has to be a balance. In a relationship, for example, if there's too much masculine energy, then it will transmute and repress the feminine energy. And once her energy, or that energy, is transmuted or repressed, it then results in a distorted feminine. Okay, because in reality, the masculine principle was not in balance in the first place. It was more of the distorted sacred energy of the masculine. And so understanding that there's a feminine and a masculine principle helps you to understand the necessary balance that is needed and that is achieved in wholeness. So looking within yourself, you have to understand the need to work in the world, whether it's your world of your home or rather it's the outer world. You need to be in motion. You need to be in moving to create things. You have to be doing things. You have a responsibility, but in doing all of that, you have to also know when to tune into your heart, when to go within, when to listen to your intuition, when to flow, when to harmonize, and so many other things. So when those energies are in balance, then we are able to fulfill our obligation to be whole, because we already are whole. We are just out of balance, out of sync. And again, I'll say it, out of balance. So these gender principles are witnessable in all of creation. Whether you want to talk about this beautiful tree that I'm looking at out here outside and the branches that reach up to the heavens, which is the feminine principle, or that trunk that is stabilizing, that goes into the ground with those roots and communicates throughout the entire cosmos, which is more of a masculine principle. You can see it all around you. You are with Tanisha Ali of Butterfly Transformations, getting you out of your cocoon and into your wings. I hope that you have a beautiful, empowered, prosperous, and abundant day. Perfect people and beautiful butterflies. I have enjoyed spending this moment with you. If you liked this video, please share it with someone who you feel it would resonate with. Please, if you connect with any of these laws, leave me a comment and help me to see how you are relating it to your life. I'd like to see you give back. Now, what law would that be? Giving back. Which is just a simple, I'm giving the video, I'm giving consciousness, I'm sharing of myself, and I'm asking that you give of yourself, which means I would be receiving, right? Which one of those laws would that actually apply to, directly or indirectly? So again, share, leave a comment. I want to know what you think. I would like to know how this is impacting you, how you can foresee it impacting you in your life. If you begin to integrate the principles, if you decide that you pick one of the principles and you can tell me how it relates to something in the sacred scripture, whatever it is, please share it, because I would like for you to join the evolution. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm about to go out and get me something to make some falafel and some bean soup. And I have heard today that parsley, oregano, watercress, lime, and what was the other fifth thing? Are really like superfoods beyond belief. More calcium, more antioxidants, oregano, which I have used as the drips on my tongue for so long, but haven't done it in a while. I want to get back to doing that. that they have more antioxidants than anything else, and that watercress in and of itself is at the top of the food chain for whatever it is that makes it at the top of the food chain. So I'm going out and about to pick up a few things, and I'm going to get a couple protein bars so that I can stay on this thing. I need to do this for at least the next 30 days. I'm trying to clear up some inflammation and some mucus, because mucus is a sign of inflammation, and mucus is a sign that we have an acidic body, right? And mucus is a sign that if we don't deal with it, we're going to be sick in some areas. So let that food be that medicine, and let, whatever else you're doing, share it with people if it's constructed. Sending lots of love to you. Have a marvelous day again.